So we're back again. We're back again with our favorite ex-Kotaku editor, senior editor, who may or may not like doing certain things in her spare time. Allegedly. So Smash JT files motion to dismiss Alyssa's frivolous lawsuit. So for people who don't know, basically Alyssa is trying to sue JT for defamation of character and all this other stuff. But basically, everything he said is completely true. She admits to doing cam work, online stripping. She's it's not really defamation. So she's trying to sue him, saying a loss of wages and this and that. And yet, during this whole thing, she's just gone on and made things worse for herself. With it could be tweeting or videos or whatever, but she only incriminates herself even more. But her lawyers are just like, Alyssa, please give us something to work with here, because you're basically giving them the case. You're going to lose. Give us something, anything to work with, something where we can defend you. She can't help herself. She just can't take the loss and just, but she's got to do this. Special JT attorney Ron Coleman files motion to dismiss Alyssa's defamation lawsuit, citing failure to state a claim. The legal battle between me, JT, and former Kotaku senior editor Alyssa, we don't say her last name because YouTube likes to think I'm saying something else, especially when it comes to around this part. So we just say Alyssa. Finally has some motion. My attorney Ron Coleman has officially filed a motion, like the absolute boss he is, to request an outright to dismiss Alyssa's defamation lawsuit, arguing that the case lacks both legal and any factual merit, which is true. It 100% does. Catching up to speed. This legal battle initially began back when Alyssa filed a defamation lawsuit against me, alleging that my commentary and public statements that I make on my YouTube channel, covering voices in the video game world and beyond, somehow damaged her reputation specifically and caused her emotional distress, because despite the fact that she likes to come off as a well-adjusted, strong, empowered woman, she cries a lot on camera. Like a lot. She's constantly, you don't know how draining this is. So, and then she has things like her daddy and boyfriend, who may or may not be the same person. So, well, my father and boyfriend would love to chat with you. So this strong woman who has no problem sitting there on TV or whatever with her little behind her, fight me physically. She has no problem doing that, but when she's by herself, she needs her daddy and boyfriend, and possibly one and the same person. She needs them to do their the fighting for her. In response, I launched a crowdfunding campaign to cover legal costs, legal expenses, and overwhelming support from the community led to well over 60,000. Yeah, I covered that. It's insane. It's insane how much he got, surpassing my initial goal of 25,000. Needed a retainer fee. This outpouring of support from everyone showed the tremendous amount of skepticism many had towards Alyssa's ridiculous claims, because that's what they were. They were ridiculous. As the case began to progress and time passed, Alyssa began deleting a significant, which that was another thing I covered. She was deleting her, like, she was going into the, her history and all that of her tweets and just deleting anything. But the internet is forever, so all those tweets that that she deleted, people already had saved. They figured that she might try something like that at some point, and they were right. So everyone went back and found any tweet that might be incriminating for her, and they saved it. And then they sent it, they whenever people do that, they either keep it until they need it, or they just send it directly to JT like, hey, here you go, buddy. Here you go, my friend. I found this incriminating tweet about her that she wrote about herself, and I thought, I thought I would save it and send it to you. You can never be too careful, especially when it comes to, a legal case that might cost you a lot of money, you know? And, it sometimes it doesn't go the way you want, but it's never too bad, and it's never wrong to go prepared. This reminds me of a nice day I had with my good friend Orville. We were sitting there, and it was a park. We were sitting in the park, and we were watching as the joggers were jogging by. And I said, Orville, it's a beautiful day, isn't it? And Orville looked. No. Once I get into the groove of it, I could literally just go for hours with that voice. Ugh, Mr. Hippo, my friend, you have met a terrible, terrible demise. But I don't feel too bad about it. I really can do anything with that. I completely off topic, but I did do that once for freaking 30 minutes. I did a World of Warcraft video, and it was going to be me playing World of Warcraft using, doing the Mr. Hippo voice. But instead, I thought of something even better. I get to the character screen. I never even went into the world. I sat there for 30 minutes doing that voice and talking about, what was it? Mr. Hippo and a fish place that he used to love to go to, and he found out it was like closed down, so he went to like this mom and pop shop, and he's describing the fish taste, and he's describing the owners of it, and oh, they've been here for around 50 years. And I thought, wow, 50 years is a very, very long time. And but I was eating the fish, and it was very, very well cooked. It had a nice breading on the outside. It became nice and crunchy. They fried it very well. It was a nice piece of fish. Yeah, I was doing that for like 30 minutes. So yeah, I just do anything with that voice. I did have an idea of Mr. Hippo and Orville going to Mardi Gras, which would have pushed things into adult territory at some point, because I had an idea of how I wanted it to end. But anyway, where are we? I don't even know where we are. But that's life, I suppose. No, we're not doing that again. They're like, no, John. No, we want to hear Mr. Hippo for 50 minutes. Yeah, deleting her tweets, which was noted by analytics from Social Blade. Yeah. So basically, it'll say she has like just 45, right? 45. And then suddenly she goes down to like 23. That means she deleted that many, tweets from 45 to 23. So it tells you how many. He's like 5 tweets right here, 5 tweets there. So it's yeah, that's what she was doing. These deletions raise concerns that she was attempting to remove evidence that could undermine her case. Yeah, adding to the controversy, she made conflicting statements about her departure from Kotaku. Publicly, she claimed she left voluntarily before widespread layoffs. However, her lawsuit later revealed that she was let go, and her contract bought out, contradicting her earlier statements and damaging her credibility. Yeah. Yeah, she was like, "Oh, I left voluntarily," but everyone's like, "Okay, you left voluntarily, but like it was at the same time everyone else is getting fired." No. We're not buying it. We're not buying it. The situation escalated further when she shared the lawsuit publicly, filing publicly on social media, exposing, yeah, unredacted, yeah, basically doxing him, and she cares so much about her own privacy, but then she puts up documents where it has his actual address. Unlike her, he has a family, he has a wife, he has children, and the last thing he wants is Alyssa's weird, simpish following to go after him and his family. While she has her boyfriend or whatever and like a cat or something, he has a family. He has a wife. He has children. And she just willy-nilly puts this document up there showing his address, but while claiming that she wants to have secrecy or privacy, and like, oh, I'm afraid of people finding out where I live. Oh, but you think he wants people knowing where he lives with his wife and children? Hmm. But redacting her own. Why? Citing safety concerns. Apparently, the only safety concerns are her own. Then proceeded to go onto Twitch stream and admit that she was doing all of this to grow her own brand.
Freelance. Obviously, streaming during the week is a good plan just because people are working, they're sitting at their desk, maybe they want to listen to me talk about, suing a YouTuber for defaming me.
I couldn't hear a damn thing. Jurisdictional issue highlighted. One of the key points of our motion to dismiss this lol suit is the issue of jurisdiction. She filed her lawsuit in New York, where she currently lives, despite acknowledging her own complaint that I'm a resident of California. Coleman argues that there are no claims anywhere indicating that I even conduct business in New York in the first place, making the choice of venue highly questionable. Trying to stretch being on the internet to a different state hasn't worked out in the past, so that in itself would be an uphill battle for Alyssa's side to prove. Yep, there's the thumbnail right there. There we go. So pretty full. In fact, the many legal precedents yet have come before this support that very argue, as courts have ruled that merely posting content online, regardless of someone's accessibility in New York, does not establish grounds for a case if the defendant has no direct business ties to the state, which I don't. This in itself could be a fatal flaw in Alyssa's case from the jump. Failure to state a claim. Beyond jurisdictional issues, Coleman asserted that Alyssa's complaint fundamentally fails to state any actual valid claim for defamation. We chatted on the phone for a bit about this part in particular. The lawsuit is no more than an attempting at being intertwined with some sort of politically charged culture war topic and relies heavily on political rhetoric, much of which is created and pushed forward by Alyssa herself. In reality, it's lacking the factual grounding needed for a defamation claim. Yeah, she's got nothing. Basically, she's like, oh, well, he said mean things. Oh, defamation of character, saying that, oh, I was a S worker and this and that. But she outright said she was doing cam work, which is, you are paying, or men pay you for a service of a nature. You are selling your body. That is work. So where's the lie? Because Alyssa is a public figure, she has to meet the higher legal standard of proving actual malice. This means she needs to demonstrate that anyone's statements were knowingly false or made with reckless disregard for the truth. Simply labeling statements as false is not enough. There must be concrete evidence to substantiate such claims. Pair that with how everything I've been covering up to this point was simply pointing out the very things she has been saying all along. Doesn't bode well for her. Yeah. Again, it's like JT will say, oh yeah, she likes to, but then she'll say, oh no, I don't like that. That's defamation. But then you see tweets like a person asking, "How did you get into the game? You know, how'd you get into this business?" She's like, "I suck." So where's the lie? And again, I've said this before. She can say, "Oh, it was a joke. It was a joke." 15 times, making the same kind of joke about, or those kinds of favors or whatever. That it's not a joke. And if you try saying that to a judge, they're gonna be like, "Okay, well, you've made this joke several times. So you made no indication that you were joking. You've said it numerous times, saying that how if the job doesn't work out, you're going to go back to that kind of work. So I'm not seeing the joke here. Where's the punchline, buddy? There is no punchline. It's not a joke. Um. So she's just digging herself in her. She's just digging her own grave here. Um, highlighted complaint is specific. On top of that, Coleman highlighted that the complaint doesn't even specify any special damages, which is a requirement under the standards set for defamation cases. Without any clear allegations of harm directly resulting from my statements, the case lacks the necessary legal. She said that it was like a loss of wages and a loss of respect from her coworker. Is like, no, that's no. That's stop lying. Stop lying. Um Again, what many have been saying all along. While anyone is technically able to sue anyone for anything, that doesn't necessarily mean anything, and certainly doesn't guarantee any sort of victory in the eyes of the law. The core allegations and its weaknesses. Ron dives even deeper, stating one of Alyssa's main claims is the slew of allegations that I referred to her as a. However, Coleman counters this by citing multiple public statements by Alyssa herself, where she openly discussed working in the industries that involve suggestive actions for money. Yeah. It's like a wee wee, let's make it bigger. I used to write a blog and I was in Boston. I was in a Boston bar looking for content, talking to an Olympic swimmer. A Shakira song was playing and her music video was on the TV in the bar. Unprompted, he went, "She's kind of fat," so I decided to sleep with him because I knew it would be bad. It was. I eviscerated him in a post, and he began messaging. And this was, "What is the dumbest or most unconventional reason you had with a person?" So she, you know, it's stuff like that. Yeah, this one right here. How did you get into the gaming industry? Happy International Day. I used to be a cam girl. Work is work. I find it endlessly fascinating that a group of people who tout the merits of late stage capitalism and screech about consumer rights are somehow against work. When that's just another very lucrative way of making funny. It's almost like you hate women. Lucrative way of making money. It's almost like you hate women. No, that's not even close to being the truth. Um, he even includes in the now deleted screenshots, what we just read, invoking anti-slap protections. Coleman also refers to the New York anti-slap laws, which are designed to prevent frivolous lawsuits like the one this one appears to be, intended to suppress actual free speech. He argues that Alyssa's lawsuit would qualify as this, and that ironically, I am not the one who would be entitled to compensation. No, I am the one who that would be. Yeah. We talked about that before. How if this goes through, that she's actually going to be liable to pay costs and all that because it's not how things. I don't know what kind of legal counseling she's getting, but clearly they're letting their politics control things because coming at it from an actual legal standpoint, she has no ground to stand on at all. They're just basically doing it to stick it to the chud, stick it to the evil alt-right winger, Donald Trump supporter, or whatever. So they're letting their feelings, as they normally do, they're letting their feelings take over rather than thinking about it from a legal standpoint and realizing that she has no legal ground to stand on. Um, Including attorney's fees and legal costs. Yeah, yeah, but that would be a battle to fight down the road, assuming the suit isn't dropped along the way for another reason. The bigger picture, why Alyssa's case is on shaky ground. Defendant submits that in the light of Twitter posts shown above, plaintiff cannot meet this burden, that each and every claim for relief in the complaint suffers from a comparable deficiencies. The plaintiff has no the plaintiffs do not have a plausible path to amending the complaint, and so we got the slap law, anti-slap law entitles defendant to relief including attorney's fees and costs. See final thoughts. The latest move by Ron Coleman to dismiss the motion for dismissal underscores the complexities of public defamation cases, especially when they intersect with online commentary and free speech. With Coleman's motion to dismiss now filed out there and in the open for all to see, all eyes are on the court's next move. If the motion is successful, it could not only be the end of Alyssa's legal abuse against me, but would thankfully also set a precedent for similar cases involving content creators and gaming journalists moving forward in the future. We can only hope that the law is in favor of true justice. Take care of yourself and each other. So I only threw the Jerry Springer thing because, my final thoughts. But yeah, I hope it doesn't get dismissed because I want to see this chick lose everything. I want to see her have to pay all these fees, and I would love it. Nothing would make me more happy. She's a terrible individual. She's a terrible person. She goes after anyone who says anything about her, saying that it's defamation of character and this and that, when she's one of those people that have never had to interact with the real world before. She always has her band of cheering her on in everything she does, making her feel basically nigh unstoppable. But now she's having to meet the real world. She's meeting reality. She's seeing that her actions are going to have consequences. And she's, again, her legal team is like, Alyssa, please give us something to work with. You are going to lose if you keep opening your mouth, or you're going to, if you keep deleting tweets, because that's just incriminating yourself. So she has no ground to stand on, no legal ground to stand on. It only makes her look worse when she starts deleting tweets left and right, because she may think that the judge is stupid, but they're not. They know that once you start deleting evidence like that, you clearly have something to hide. The judge doesn't need to know what the tweets say to know that it incriminates her. They're not stupid. So I just want her to lose everything and then just fade away into obscurity. I think she said a while ago that she wasn't going to be on Twitter or whatever, yet she's back. So this is clearly a person who craves attention, who needs attention, and doesn't matter to her what kind of attention she gets. But then when she gets it, she's like, oh, mean words. Mean words. But, 100% JT's got this in the bag. He does. His lawyer is better. He has more evidence against her. So he's got this. So he's got $60,000 and then whatever she's going to have to pay. It's going to be a good day for him. He's going to be able to take his family on a long vacation. I would suggest that he does so. Not at Disney, though. Disney's terrible. Asking people, is your grandma still alive? Are you going to get a big inheritance if she dies? Because if you do, come spend it here. Yes, that is a real thing, by the way. I did an article, I did a video about that, how they asked those people in surveys who have like memberships and all that about their grandparents and if they are in the wills or if they have an inheritance. Yeah, they outright ask them just so they know that it's like, oh yeah, why don't you come spend it with us? So, JT, if you win, I would recommend taking your family on a nice long vacation, just getting away from everything for a little bit. You know, you'll have more than enough money to survive on for a little bit without having to work. You know, if your wife works as well, you know, she can take a nice break and it'll be great for the kids, you know? So I would recommend just go out of the country for a little bit, you know? That should be fun. Take them to a nice, beautiful country that's amazing this time of year and let them have fun. Let them experience the world. But, anyway, that's going to do it for me. You guys know the drill. I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.